In mainstream media reports, we often see images of Ukrainian forces gaining an advantage on the battlefield. However, reality is often more brutal than what the camera shows. A Ukrainian soldier who barely survived the battlefield, in an interview, described the true predicament they face. The position he was defending had already suffered multiple fierce shellings from Russian forces. As a reinforcement soldier who had just been deployed there, he initially thought the Russian offensive had subsided. Just as he felt a slight relief, the sudden explosion beside him instantly pulled him back to reality. The Russian shells landed with extreme precision. The dust stirred up, rushing directly at them. What was even more suffocating was that the shelling impact points were gradually closing in on their trench. Everyone could only huddle deep in the trench, daring not to move. Even so, shells still exploded directly above their heads. Recalling this scene, this soldier remains shaken. If the shell had landed just 1 or 2 meters closer in the center of the trench, he would not have survived to appear on camera. However, the crisis was not over. After the shelling, drones arrived one after another. The buzzing sound from the sky constantly agitated everyone's nerves. They ignored possible ground attacks and could only peek out of the trenches, firing into the sky. Facing drones, hiding in the trenches was useless. On this day, they don't know how many magazines they changed, shooting down at least a dozen drones. But drones continued to explode among the crowd, causing continuous casualties. Many soldiers who arrived to reinforce with him were gone forever within 12 hours of entering the position. They remained there permanently. Artillery fire and drones alternately suppressed them. The soldiers couldn't even lift their heads. From beginning to end, the Russian forces did not deploy ground infantry. Remote firepower alone caused over half of their casualties, overwhelming them. This soldier recalled he once witnessed a comrade wounded by a drone, instinctively crawling for help, only to fall before him the next second. At that moment, everyone's heart turned to ice. Some soldiers, unable to endure the continuous high pressure, collapsed and cried in the trenches. But the only response they received was incessant shelling. They held out from day to night, struggling to endure the bombardment, until they finally received the order to retreat, with troop carriers coming to pick them up. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief, but the Russian shelling did not stop. To survive, soldiers had to risk crossing the shelled area. People continuously fell during the retreat. This soldier was also wounded in the shelling. Some shells even landed directly on a group of wounded soldiers, leaving no survivors. Until the moment they rushed into the troop carriers, they felt as if they had returned from hell. In less than a day, without seeing the enemy,